I wrote Loggerhead, surprisingly, against a commission to do something for a special edition of a journal dedicated to Elliot Carter, before he died, in fact. He died in December or November 2012 nearly at the age of 103. And he's a composer I've greatly admired for many years, and that's all I was trying to say. I'm going to read most of the words from Loggerheads. It's a visual and a written book, and I'm going to read them. I'm going to read the sequences in a linear fashion, because the publication will be much more complex than that. In the daylight, a complex of sun and its reflections, achieved after no expectation, recognises a recurrence of knowledge, emotional the bodies it seemed in voluntary response. As part of recollection, as if much more was likely, another recurrence, apparently, invention and cognition, aspects of the possible realised with what was already apparent. Civic being and identity, while not collective nor strident, through visual engagement, a kind of proprioception, synesthetic architecture, structures and constructions, tools, work, memory, and prevent clarity before it becomes law. Thought about, stood back from meditation upon a wall of silences, the process to gather in a compartmented bag. To ask what is social in the face of categories, what ethical in the standing of it, the construction of interpretation and its debris, its losses. Memory has inherent damage shift, compositional necessity, arranged and engaged in exactness, in its visible variety, its concealed structure. Processes of interminacy and indeterminacy and deliberate lack of focus, inventions as rhetoric, both of something new and different, a proposal before consideration and inventory, the ordered storage of diverse materials, a good shed practice, to read without light thought, locational structure, grounded as a prerequisite for inventivity, an inherent temporal dimension, the dialectic of potential complacences. Money has repellent, ravaged, lifted, corrosive negation, deranged, planned, engaged, skin parataxis, skin pits, risible pariah, fits, congealed recovery, poses, odd indeterrent bands, belligerent, hack-off move, declensions as recovery, Botox, smothering, neuter and diffident, an arousal, beaten constellation, an incendiary Thorwood, tourage of divided manuals, a wood, said praxis, to tread devout, sight fraught, devotional struggle rounded as a pair for activity, and degenerate temple vectors, thesis, loggerhead of provincial conveniences. The rock house, the cave dwelling, place required for the task of recollection, buzzes on the neck, here now unreliably shifted. All knowledge and instability depends on all memories, images slowly and rapidly compounds of two events. A likeness that serves us, a cognitive wet box, an inclination or attitude helps to retrieve, recall emotionally leathered beauty and benefit in the blended sense. Obliteration in lieu of the ken to alliterate and obliterate, usefulness submerged in the daylight, delight gathered co-locative, reminiscence reft of nostalgia, requires structural dispositions of places in the pond map from which and into which collecting proceeds. Placement and location are map of material to remember and think tank patterns in order to know tropological meditation. Intention more readily and more reliably than content to reveal to what community different patterns activated. Meditation in on a reading process as a walled, self-conscious bundle, invention or impression, ground in familiar rhetorical and mnemotechnical principles. Why meditation becomes a way of advanced memoria, the call is for solitude, crowding, clarity of light. A meditational hold provides necessary disposition, ordering locality in its repeated sequence. Started from a known place, the ornaments bringing before the eyes, punning difficulty, give rise to engaged seeing and analysis. Silence was made. From known shapes and unknown practices, the distinction between meditation from the annotative, explanatory work of textual exposition and meditation reading to memorize, to loosen and expand what was memorized. The wall, with where the space of bags of uncooked rice and a stick bone. The opening letterbox. I'm sorry for the props, but the following works were based on a book of hazardous materials. And uses some lyrics translated by others from very, very early Greek lyrics. Over-driedness, pour perfume over my head, the crackly earth's surface, slacken our girths, let me not wander lonely or skin patterns lost in the wallet of my body, the next opportunity, trip on the step to an outside freshness. To ask what is social in the face of categories, what ethical in the standing of it, the construction of interpretation, and its debris, its losses. A ring of ducks in a flood field anticipate a pond. Take my breath, take my bones from out of me. Skirts of mist around the base of young ash trees. From the grey sea of my being, set us at loggerheads, mounds of lawned reservoirs. Overruns and the costs of the project had led to delays in other space science programs, such as the Advanced X-ray Astronomy facility, and some harsh words were spoken. Investigated more complex models, taking radiation pressure into account, the very expansion suggested by redshifts of distant galaxies. Moss crabs scattered on sidewalk, a confluence of magpies, winter rain. In stillness, breaths let the dice fall. Dark greens lit against vibrant greys. Pour water over my grey chest. Bypass trap dogs, spot rails. Memory is inherent damage shift of compositional necessity, arranged and engaged in exactness, in its visible variety, its concealed recurrence, processes of indeterminacy and deliberate lack of focus, inventions as rhetoric, both as something new and different, a proposal before consideration, an inventory, the ordered storage of diverse materials, a good shared practice, to read without light thoughts, locational structure grounded as a prerequisite for inventivity, an inherent temporal dimension, the dialectic of potential complacences. There's a fear of them not coming off. I started making drawings with wire, as well as brown paper bags. Over dryness, the craquelure of surface, skin patterns, the next opportunity, trip on the step to an outside freshness. Thank James again. In autumn, what seemed like an empty tree provided a feast for blue tits. Bright grey light over allotments. Mud river stopped short of cow pond. Railway platform, nature reserve, interrupted by rhododendrons. Grey mist lift from golden leaves on red brown earth. A ring of ducks in a flood field, anticipate a pond, skirts of mist around the base of young ash trees, mounds of lawned reservoirs. Rows of lawns, a set of table and chairs on each lead down to river fence and a band of spaced runners exhaling grey and blue air into dry ice. Orange glow lift from dark grey hills, reflect in forward frost and absorbed into a flotation of vapour. Moss crabs scattered on sidewalk, a confluence of magpies' winter rain, dark greens lit against vibrant greys, bypass trapdogs, spot rails,